Good morning. Let's see, is it started yet? Uh-oh. There we go. Good morning, everyone. I'm Leslie Fuller, and this is my second edition of Daily Dementia Care Encouragement. My goal in this series of posts is for those of you out there in this craziness of our Corona-19 awareness, some of the issues that are coming up for those of you caring for someone living with dementia, whether it be in your home or keeping those communications going with someone who's living in a care community. So a couple of questions that came up on the first post I wanted to address. So Denise had mentioned dealing with negativity. How do you combat, or how do you help with someone who's dealing with negative, being very negative about not just the situation, but just the dementia has kind of made their viewpoint to feel, at least to family, to be very negative. So some of the things I wanted to address, let me look at my notes here. Problem solving. So for someone who is living with dementia, their emotions and their observations and awareness of things that are going on are still happening within themselves, but their ability to necessarily process what they're seeing and maybe problem solve, maybe come up with solutions, come up with actions, that ability changes. And if they're missing something that's bothering them, but they have no ability to cognitively process through what makes sense to solve that, they can get stuck in that the negativeness of it. So if they're coming across with negative comments, it's because that's where they are. So part of what we can do to help them is help them process it. So one of the worst things that you can do, that's not a very positive way of putting that, but it's true. So if somebody is being negative, to say, oh, don't worry about that. Mom, it's okay. We talked about that already. You don't need to worry about that. I've got that taken care of. When we use terms like this on a regular basis, what that's doing is kind of twofold. Number one, it's negating their emotions. Their emotions are very valid. They're just as valid as yours and mine. And to think about it for yourself. If you were really genuinely kind of frustrated with something, upset, and I just said, you know what, really, don't worry about that. That's okay. You don't need to worry about that. I'd be kind of pissed off, to be honest. You're not listening to me. You're not paying attention to what my frustrations are. Hey, Gina, you're not paying attention to my frustrations. And oh, wow, I get distracted very easily. So I'm probably not going to respond to your comments very well, because it's almost like you're dismissing me, and I don't want to be dismissed. So that's one thing. And then also, let's see, wait, everything is fine. Sorry, my mind just went elsewhere. Yeah, so you're either disagreeing with her or you're patronizing her, basically. And none of us want to be ignored or patronized. So one of the best things you can do is genuinely listen. Don't just put a filter on, okay, I'm going to pretend to listen. Don't do that. Genuinely listen to what their concerns are, because it will help you maybe understand where they're coming from. Are they really, the underlying emotion is they're fearful? Maybe they're afraid, especially with all this Corona stuff going on. My mom's 84. Hi, Mom, if you're listening. And, at that age, and she doesn't have dementia, but at that age, this whole Corona thing is a lot more, I think, fearful personally than, say, somebody for me who my age bracket doesn't have that. So are they hearing these things and they've got fear going on underneath? Or are they angry at somebody? Do they feel somebody has wronged them? If those are the cases, you really need to listen to what they're saying, help them dig into what that emotion is, and then help them to process that. So what are we going to do? We're going to listen to them. We're genuinely going to hear them out, ask them questions, ask them open-ended questions. So for somebody who has dementia, to ask ask them a very specific question. Well, Mom, who told you that? I don't know who told me that. The thought's in my head and I know I heard it. But when you ask very specific questions like, well, who told you that? Kind of adds to the frustration because it's like, damn it, I don't know where I got that, but what I'm feeling is genuine. So ask open. So Mom, tell me, how's that making you feel? And then help drill down to say, what do you think that we can do to make this better? What can we do together to make this better? You can offer some choices. Mom, would it be helpful? Would it be helpful for you if I spoke to so-and-so? Would it be helpful for you if I were to make a phone call or find XYZ for you or ABC? What would you think about that, Mom? Because what you're doing is, number one, you're giving choice, and choice is important. We all need choice in our day, right? And number two, you're acknowledging that her emotions are valid and how can we work on this together? Don't try to just solve the problem for them. That really isn't the issue. It's really more of the emotional stuff that's going on and the fact that they know that you're there with them and you're going to try to help figure this out. In all of that as well, too, if their mind is in kind of a negative place, think about anybody, whether somebody has dementia or not. If we're in a very negative place, what would help us is if we are kind of maybe flooded a little bit with acknowledgement of that and how can we help you with that. But let's also flood my world with some positive things that are meaningful to me. For me personally, of course, the corona, it's impacting, I'm concerned about family that's out of town and what's going on and what am I going to do here in my house. I could let myself get kind of wound up in that. But what's helping me is I know that my gardening and my hydroponic gardening, I know that my making kombucha, and I know working out. Those three things bring me positivity in my life. And so what I do is say, you know what? I'm going to stop reading social media. I'm going to stop listening to all this. I'm going to go do those three things. And it is amazing what that does to my mood. Translate that to those you're living with. So what makes them happy? Just going out and taking a walk, sitting outside, having a cup of coffee, sitting on the patio, watching videos or maybe going through photo albums, right? And looking at family vacations together that you took. And yes, you might have heard the same story 500 times. You know what? That story is new to them at this moment. And to be able to help them be in a positive, happy place is beneficial to both them and to you. Listen to the story for the 501st time and realize that what you're getting out of that moment is you're giving them happiness. Don't we want to give everybody we love happiness, right? Do you love giving somebody a gift and when they open it, they're excited? You're doing that same thing if that's the kind of response that they're going to get out of that. Find things around. Be active. Okay, being social right now, it takes on a different light, right? We can't really touch. We really shouldn't have people in the home. So what can you do different from that? I talked on the first call a little bit. Use your social media video systems like this, or Zoom, or Skype, telephone calls. Call somebody they love that they haven't talked in a while. And it all depends on where they are in the progression of their journey with their dementia, whether they're going to be able to connect with that or not. You have to play that by ear, but utilize things like that. I saw a great picture yesterday on Facebook of a man whose father was in an assisted living and he couldn't come in to visit him. So he brought a lawn chair, and each day he's going out and sitting outside his window, gets on his phone to dad so dad can see him through the window. They're talking on the phone together. Okay, so just finding ways to help them connect into things that are positive for them that they like, giving them some physical activity. Physical activity, I was just baffled the other day. I went and I had something that was really kind of bothering me. It was just kind of nagging at me and I couldn't shed it. I totally get this. And I went and worked out. And when I got done working out, that issue was still in my mind, but it wasn't there in a very fretful sort of way or negative way for me. It was like, oh, yeah, I kind of need to deal with that. So that physical activity and the endorphins that it causes, it changes the way we look at things. So try to get some physical activity, trying to engage in something that is maybe task oriented, that is familiar to them. If they had a hobby that they liked, find those tools, those pieces, those things. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be successful, as you would call it, like they used to be. Success is defined differently now, right? So let's say dad really enjoyed fishing. Pull out the fishing poles, pull out a map. Talk about if you were going to plan a fishing trip, Dad, where would you suggest I go? I know you went on a lot of trips before. And then let him start being the expert. Because you know what? He is an expert. He's an expert on fishing and on trips, whether you do ocean fishing or lake fishing. Let him go with that, because it's a world that he's very comfortable with. And it gives him the opportunity to give back. Everybody on this call, because you're all friends of mine mostly, and you're all great people, want to do things for others. So do people who have dementia, okay, who are living with dementia. They're people, they're still people. They have some changes going on in their brain, but it doesn't make them any different. They want to be able to give back somehow. So how can they give back? Part of that is giving wisdom, right? Giving us knowledge, teaching us things, sharing things with us. So going back to the original topic, if they're really stuck on negativity, we're going to help them. None of us want to be stuck in negativity, right? They're not doing that and choosing to be there. It's where their thoughts and their emotions have taken them. Make it your challenge. Make your challenge to see if you can help find a way to get them focused on something else that brings them something positive for them, and hence for you as well too. I had a coworker that I used to travel with sometimes at Brookdale, and she had such this delightful, positive attitude. And she would say, when you come upon a problem like that, be wildly curious. Make it a challenge. You can take that situation as in, oh, here we go again. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I just don't even want to be with Mama. She's like this. I mean, let's be honest. We have those thoughts. Acknowledge that you're having that thought and say, stop. Okay, this is not a problem. This is a challenge. Can I break it, right? Can I get in there and have a positive effect on this? How you look at the situation is 75% of the solution as to how you can help them with that. Because just remember, you are helping them with that emotional challenge that they've been put in. Let me look at my other notes here. I kind of hit on this a little bit. Acknowledge their strengths and expertise. Maybe if it's cooking, if Mom always liked cooking, just pull out some cookbooks and sit down and say, Mom, let's look at some of these recipes. And maybe you're just looking at pictures, right? Maybe some pictures will trigger something. Maybe we could put a menu together. If we were going to cook anything, what would it be? Because Mom, I always loved your cooking. Growing up, man, my friends always loved to come over to the house when you cooked, right? And actually, that is true, Mom, if you're listening. My mom's an amazing cook. But finding real life things that you can acknowledge their contributions to the world and that they're still there. And let's see what else. I think a big thing too is being a partner. In our business, in our world of senior living, we talk a lot about terms and words that we use. So think about the difference between being a caregiver, because that term's used a lot, a caregiver versus care partner. So what's the difference in that? Okay. When you're a caregiver, here, let me do that. Let me help you. I did this for you. I'll fix that. I'll do that. If that's what people are constantly hearing, we're feeding the thought process that you can't do anything for yourself. I have to do it all for you. God help you if you have to help me someday and you're treating me like that. I will probably get very angry because I am a strong, independent person. I can do it myself, damn it. And you've probably heard that before, right? But when you look at your role in their life as a daughter, as a spouse, whatever that is, being, hey, Denise, care partner, is you're in there, you're in it with them. Let's do this together. All the ideas, all the input don't come from you. This is a joint partnership between the two of you. And when you can change your own thinking to the fact that we're in this together, it's going to help your relationship and how you partner together on that. Let's see. Asking for opinion and give choice. Yeah, choice is really important. None of us want to have everything done for us, right? Or all our decisions made for us. Make sure that you aren't just getting in your head, well, this is how it should be. And if mom does it different, no, that's okay, mom, I'll do it. No. And if she's setting the table and it doesn't look the way you want it, who cares? It doesn't matter. Work together. It's interesting. We have company staying with us right now. They had actually planned their trip and driving through Vegas on the way home from Iowa. And, she commented that she had been at another location visiting other family, and that person in that house was like, no, you sit down. I've got this. And she wanted to help in doing stuff, but the hostess at the other location was like, no, I've got it. I'll do all this. And she was coming from a good place in her heart. It's like, oh no, I don't want you to have to work. But she says, I wanted to. I wanted to do things. So last night when I asked her to help with cooking, she's like, oh, please, yes. We're just all people. Again, whether you have dementia or not, think about how you would respond to things. Hey, Gary, good to see you. Anyway, well, I'll let you go for today. And Tim Stringer, you had asked a question about repeating conversations and subjects and things. So I will hit that one up tomorrow. And if any of you have other topics of anything you would like me to address or talk about, I would be happy to do so. So just put it in the chat and I will add that to my list of agendas. Happy 2020 March. Someday people are going to say, so where were you March 2020? All of us will say in our homes, but everybody take care and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Mwah.